Hello, my name is Katie Dutcher, and I am so excited for us to be beginning this Joyful Living Challenge together. And I wanted to just jump on this video to, I guess, just explain a little bit about the context of this, why I want to offer this challenge and what it is. For some people, this is a good way to take in content, to just be listening. So, first of all, going really broader, we human beings have a negativity bias. And you might have already noticed that sometimes it seems like all the things that are bothering you are the things that jump out, the things that you tend to sometimes focus on. Or that when people say things to you that seem insulting or seem just in some way provoking negative emotions, that somehow that tends to echo through your mind. And that is not just you. It is not your problem, or rather it is all of our problem. It comes about from really just evolution as a way to keep us safe, in meaning alive. So to be able to scan specifically for danger and things that are not good, things that are threatening, is historically what kept us alive, to be able to really detect what's not right here, what's wrong with this picture. So that keeps us alive, which is great, and yet at the same time, it doesn't necessarily keep us happy or feeling a sense of well-being or uplift. Because if we're scanning for the negative, it means that everything that isn't negative seems to kind of fall through the cracks, or sometimes feels like it doesn't count, because we just don't notice it as much when we're giving energy to what's wrong. So there is this bias that evolution has given us, but the good news is that we can change. Our brains can change. This is neuroplasticity, meaning that the pathways, the way the brain functions, changes based on our experience. This is happening all the time. This is how we learn and grow. And we can do this intentionally, meaning we can change our brains. We can change the way we are. I find that to be just amazing and really good news, because that means there's a lot of power that we have by making choices. So the way we do that, one is that we can change the input. We can change the types of things we're listening to and watching, and just kind of the diet of what we're bringing in, so that it isn't so many things that provoke negativity or judgment. And then we can also change our focus. So rather than scanning for the negative, we can often scan for the positive. Be really open and aware of all the good things that are already a part of our lives. There's good and bad news to this. I guess it isn't even bad, but that one is that this change of the brain, it happens little by little. It's like shifting the course of a river. It's really little by little bringing ourselves to a new way of being. And so that does mean that we need to be patient with ourselves and kind as we're moving towards more joyful living. But it also means if it's so little by little, that means it's really easy to begin. That we can start with really small things and have the power to change the course of all these pathways in our brain. So I'm going to really talk about, the point of this challenge is to incorporate some really small practices and see how that affects us. But before I do, I just want to note that some folks have an aversion to the word positivity, or they feel like it means some kind of pretense, like I'm going to pretend that I don't experience negative experiences or negative emotions. And this is really not what we're talking about. We're not trying to force anything away or pretend something doesn't happen or distract from when there are challenges and things we need to work with. We're not at all trying to get rid of this. that wouldn't really, that wouldn't be a helpful effort anyway, because this occurs. We're really accepting the whole varied experience of being human, and all the all that is in that. But really, it's that negative thinking, negativity is easy. It's the easiest thing for our brain to do. It doesn't necessarily feel like it takes a choice. What we're doing is intentionally evening the score, and also seeing more clearly, because it isn't only negativity that exists. If I say I had a bad day, often that means there was one difficult part of the day that has colored now the whole day for me. And if I really looked at all the moments of the day, I would find that yes, there was that difficult part, and there were all these things that just went fine or were as expected in a positive way, and then maybe other things that were really lovely. And so it is about, rather than zooming in on that one moment, that one aspect, really seeing all of it. So it's actually a truer seeing of the world and seeing of our lives. So these little things, these little practices. First of all, where I got this set of practices for this challenge was from Sean Achor. And I first heard him interviewed on the Dan Harris podcast, 10% Happier. And what got my attention was really small practices and really big effect. He's a researcher, and he has offered these practices in workplaces, in schools, in all these places, and done the research to see that it actually does affect people's well-being. He has seen many people go from testing and some kind of assessment that he does, testing as pessimists to testing as optimists, like over 21 days, and often like going back and testing them 6 months later and finding that those results have held. So that is an exciting thing to me, that it isn't just like something neat to try, although that's great, but it actually seems like there will be really awesome effects that you and I will see from trying this out. So there are many researchers in positivity. There are many different things we can read about how to be happier. But I do find that a lot of it comes down to these practices that Sean Achor has detailed here. So I wanted to use his set. It's just a nice little package. So what they are, first, gratitudes. So with gratitudes, we think about or say or write down 3 new things each day. So new things is so that we don't get stuck sort of always by rote, going with like my family, my health, my life, that kind of thing, but that we're actually thinking about new things each time. And then also with these gratitudes, we say why. I am grateful for this because what is the impact on me? So that really makes it powerful. So making an effort to do this helps our brain to start shifting into that I'm scanning not for the bad, but I'm scanning for the good. So the second one he calls the doubler, and it's basically a journaling activity, which is it can be really short, 2 minutes, where you take one highlight of the day and you just write about it, maybe bullet points. What was it like? What were you taking in with your senses? What kind of impact did this good event have on you? So what you're doing here is what Dr. Rick Hansen calls taking in the good. You're really sort of enhancing the experience, sinking into a memory, and sort of tracing over it in your brain so that it sinks in more. You're kind of marinating in it. And then the third piece is movement, some kind of fun cardio movement, just like 15 minutes a day. So this, again, research shows that this acts in a similar way or even the same as an antidepressant. So just getting outside, I think outside is great, but also in your house anything that for you is activity and movement, and that's pretty fun. 15 minutes of that. The fourth exercise is meditation. So with meditation, again, just like 2 minutes, do more if you want. Give yourself a break. And meditation, again, there's so much research that's going on with regular meditation, and its effects on well-being are lasting. And then the fifth piece is a random act of kindness. So for this, it's any sort of little good deed or secret way. Maybe you pay for somebody who's in the back of the line. Or a very easy way to do this is just open up your text or email each day and send somebody a thank you or a piece of praise, some way that they've affected you. So some kind of act of kindness which enhances our social connection. And again, social connection is maybe one of the biggest predictors of well-being and even living longer. Those are the practices. So there's 5: gratitudes, journaling about one activity, movement, meditation, random act of kindness. Each one of these, besides the movement, is really short. It's like 2 minutes. So 2, 4, 6, that's like 8 minutes of practice, plus trying to make sure that you're doing that fun movement for 15 minutes. So yes, it is a change. Yes, it's something intentional. But the other thing about it is you can totally scale this to you. You could pick one of these things if you wanted to. And if you did, I'd probably pick the gratitudes one. But you could pick just one or whatever seems manageable. Or you could try to do all 5. Really don't let it be intimidating. If anything seems intimidating, scale it back a little bit. There will still be benefits from this for sure. And then a really big way to enhance the effects of this is to share it. So like doing it at the breakfast table or the dinner table, sharing your gratitudes, asking about what's good in your people's lives, or at work or with friends. My sister was talking about ways to sort of scale this down and do it together with her 3-year-old daughter. And so I again love thinking about how you might bring your creativity and enthusiasm to spreading joy around you where you live. I'm so excited for you to be part of this and for us to be doing this challenge together. I'm excited to hear about the things that you're grateful for, the random acts of kindness that you find ways to do, and most of all to see how these small, easy changes and shifts create bigger changes, right? The way that practicing gratitude, that noticing and honing in on the good actually affects our well-being and our resilience, our ability to bounce back and to make meaning of what we experience. So thank you for being here.